ninjas!
Hiya!
Welcome to our movie review. What are we reviewing this week, Sensei?
This week we are, and hopefully if our viewers have been paying attention, they know this one's been coming down the pipe for a while. We just had to get those ninja movies out of the way. But this week's movie review is Bloodsport. One of my favorite martial arts movies ever. We'll be back to talk about it in just a moment. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer. And you know, while you're watching the trailer, is a perfect time for you to subscribe to Legends, Lore, Hauntings, and more. So without further ado, here's the trailer.
For centuries, the Society of the Black Dragon has sanctioned an ancient rite of combat, known as the Kumite, open only to the world's most lethal warriors. It has never been won by a Westerner.
You are not Japanese. I can do it.
Now, for the first time, the true story of America's super agent, Frank Dukes, can be revealed.
Uncle Sam can't afford to let you get hurt.
I'm going to Hong Kong.
Frank is going to fight in the Kumite, and we're here to stop him.
An awesome human weapon.
It hurts me just looking at it.
Who infiltrates the Chinese underworld.
I did not come this far to stop now.
Take him.
To enter a forbidden competition.
Couldn't you just get me in?
Strict rules, no press.
You telling me you never break rules?
Where every fighting style, every worthy opponent, every deadly technique clash in savage combat.
Time to separate the men from the boys.
And only one will triumph.
Now I break you.
International martial arts sensation Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport, the true story of the ultimate champion.
Alright, so that was the trailer for Bloodsport, and Sensei Daniel's going to give us the breakdown.
Alright, as I said a few moments ago, it's one of my favorite martial arts movies. I'm a big Van Damme fan anyway, you know. I'm a 90s guy, so, you know, you watched movies in the 90s. Actually, Bloodsport was 88. But yeah, you know Van Damme if you love martial arts and you're a 90s guy like me. So, the movie plot is basically this. Jean-Claude Van Damme is a troubled youth. Big surprise. And so he breaks into this guy's house with his friends, and he gets caught by the guy who lives there, and the guy goes and basically strikes up a deal with his father, saying, you know, let me use him to train my son in martial science, and at the same time I'll train him to learn self-discipline, blah, blah, blah. So he trains him, but of course not as in-depth as his son, because essentially Van Damme's going to learn a little bit, but he's there to be the son's punching bag. So he protects him at school and this and that and the other, and they grow up, and then the other son dies. So at this point, Van Damme wants to fight in the Kumite to honor his Shidoshi, so he asked him to give him the advanced training and train him for it. And he does. Then Van Damme joins the army, and he's taken off to go compete in the Kumite. He stops by his old Shidoshi's house to pay his respects because he's very sick at this point. So he makes it to the Kumite over in Hong Kong, where he meets his buddy Ray Jackson, this big old Harley dude. Any of you who remember...
Also known as...
Yeah, any of you who remember Revenge of the Nerds, he was Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds.
Yep.
Anyway, Van Damme gets over there. They qualify. He shows him the death touch, he breaks the bottom brick and all that good stuff. And this dude, Chong Li, or as I refer to him as the Korean Jay-Z. That's what he looks like to me, is the Korean Jay-Z.
He kind of does.
Only he's built, especially for a Korean dude. He's built. Anyway, he's the main bad guy in the movie, if you will. And he hospitalizes Van Damme's buddy that he made over there, his biker buddy or whatever. I should mention, all the while the army is trying to catch up with him to take him back and prevent him from competing in the Kumite.
Because he's on furlough.
Played by Forrest Whitaker and this other dude. So throughout the whole movie, you got that going on too. It was tough to find the time to put that in there because it's happening concurrently with the other things that are going on in the movie. But yeah, throughout the whole movie, they're trying to track him down and catch him and capture him and take him back to base or whatever. Mm-hmm. So you have a lot of scenes where he's outrunning them or outsmarting them or whatever. He meets this blonde lady over there. She's a reporter. Pretty for her time.
She's so cute. She's so cute.
She's a real pretty lady for being a late 80s lady. You know, she got the big hair and all that kind of thing going on.
It was the 80s, man.
Anyways, she plays Van Damme's love interest, and she's trying to get into the Kumite. And then she tries to stop him later on from competing too. Anyway, long story short, he gets revenge on Chong Li for hurting his buddy. He wins the Kumite by defeating Chong Li in the most embarrassing way, which was by making him say Mate.
Which I didn't know what that meant.
It's like making him say uncle. There's 3 ways you can win. You can knock him off the platform, or you can knock him out, or you can kill him, or you can make him say Mate.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're a real bitch if somebody makes you say Mate. Well,
and this like gives you dishonor too.
Of course, Van Damme makes him say Mate. So, you know, blah, 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 into the movie, goes back to the army, says goodbye to the girl, and the movie ends. And then you learn all these really interesting things. Yeah, I guess they should have started off with that. This movie is allegedly based on a true story. So then when the movie ends, about a guy named Frank Dukes. And at the end, they post all these interesting facts about Frank Dukes.
That's was what intrigued me the most, that I wanted to see it because you told me it was based on a true story.
And that's part of why I really like the movie a lot. So, that's my synopsis of the movie. I've never saw, or I really met anybody who watched Bloodsport who didn't think it was a good movie.
I thought it was good.
So Shelley's going to fill us in on some facts, and we'll see where that leads us.
And here are just the facts. Bloodsport was made, as you stated, in 1988, starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, who was born October 18th, 1960, which makes him 64 years old. And his height is...
he's getting to be an old man now.
Yeah, he's 10 years older than I am. His height is 5 feet 10 inches. So, and he was 35 years old when he made the movie Bloodsport. Okay? His martial art skills include karate, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Taekwondo, Shotokan, and full contact karate. Those are all of his skills. All right. Now, do you want to know his start and how he got chosen for
I want to know
Bloodsport?
everything that you have to tell us about him.
Okay. Well, this comes from the source Yahoo Entertainment. The Belgian actor and martial artist arrived in Hollywood in 1982, determined to become a movie star. But over the next 5 years, the best he managed was some screen time as an extra in the old-school hip-hop favorite Breakin'.
Ah.
That was like one of his first roles.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I bet he's wearing parachute pants and break dancing.
On some cardboard. Also doing stunt work for Chuck Norris. And he almost played the alien in Predator. He lived on the street. And he nearly got arrested for sneaking onto Sylvester Stallone's property in a misguided attempt to meet the star of Rambo and Rocky. But everything changed, though, when the undeterred Van Damme was working as a waiter in an LA eatery and spotted Canon Films executive Menahem Gola at a table.
Oh, yeah, I know Menahem. Menahem Gola.
Well, I know about Canon Films because of all of the films we've been watching. Well, anyway, he was at the table. Van Damme kicked a roundhouse kick over his head. It impressed the Asian film buyers that were dining with him, and it impressed them enough to score Van Damme a meeting. But Gola was not yet impressed with him. So he thought, we'll see at this meeting, right? So this is a recount from Van Damme. He says, quote, I met him weeks later, and he said, my friend, Michael Dudikoff, he is a star. Chuck Norris, he is a star. You will never be a star. That's what he was told. Mm-hmm. So Van Damme says, this voice I have, this intuitive voice said, go around the desk and beg, bro. This is your last shot, right? I was living on the street, sleeping.
I like that little accent you did just there.
Yes,
that's your Van Damme.
I don't know.
This is your last chance, please.
Bro. So anyway, this is your last chance, right? I was living on the street, sleeping in cars and garages, and sometimes I even stole food. I didn't have good money. I was so starving for movies. So I go around the desk and say, anything? A small part? He was so sad to see me like that. He looked at me strange, waited 2 to 3 minutes, and said to his associate, bring me Bloodsport. And he gave me Bloodsport, just like that. And that's how he got Bloodsport.
That's pretty cool little story.
That's,
I didn't know that Van Damme was so destitute.
I
up until
had
that
no
point.
idea. I had no idea. So, would you like to hear some trivia?
Sure.
About the movie? Okay.
About the movie? Okay.
Well, some of it's about him. I mean, it's just kind of all mixed together, so. Okay, Van Damme actually knocked out Bernard Mariano with his elbow. While making the movie, he actually knocked him out. It is one of the few films featuring scenes filmed inside Kowloon walled city before it was destructed. So it was one of the last films made there before its destruction.
Okay.
All right. Frank Dukes was the fight coordinator for this film. And when Van Damme was cast, Dukes announced that Van Damme wasn't in nearly good enough shape.
Huh.
Yeah, and he put him through a 3-month training program. Van Damme, a world championship martial artist in his own right, called it the hardest training of his life. All right, so you had mentioned before it was based on a true story.
That's what I had always heard. That's what I have always believed. What kind of information do you have?
Well, digging down in the rabbit hole, it states, while the film is set in Hong Kong, the real Frank Dukes claims that the kumite he competed in took place in the Bahamas. None of Dukes' claims of his past military history or these secret martial arts tournaments have ever been substantiated. The movie was touted as a true story, but over the years, doubts have arisen about its veracity. This is sad too. Most martial arts enthusiasts consider Frank Dukes' accounts of competing in secret tournaments a complete fiction.
Wow, that is a disappointment to find
is.
out. Don't get me wrong, I still love the movie, but
I like the movie too.
that's one of the things I really liked about
Me
it.
too. You know me in true stories, you know. Along with the claims that he was an undercover CIA operative, They don't believe that either. Some have pointed out that nobody else has confirmed his story or told their own version. It is now generally accepted that Dukes lied his way into Hollywood and has most likely never competed in a martial arts tournament.
What? Wow.
That's heartbreaking, right? But this is all alleged. I don't know. This is what I dug up. Let's see. According to records obtained through the Freedom of Information Act, Dukes was in the U.S. Marine Corps Reserve, but he was never posted overseas. The CIA has no record of him ever working with them.
No, when the CIA
but when they lie,
had no record. I mean,
yeah, I agree with you. So that I don't care about that as much. His personal brand of martial arts, Dukes Ryu Ninjutsu, is also a complete fabrication.
Ooh, that's a real disappointment too, because I thought that was really unique that he started a ninjutsu school. I
thought it was so cool that, yeah. But let's see, I also have a fun fact.
All right, what's the fun fact?
Okay, Midway's hit video game, remember Mortal Kombat? Back in 1992, Mortal Kombat. It took huge inspiration from the film, and it even used a parody of Jean-Claude Van Damme for the character Johnny Cage.
I knew you were going to say Johnny Cage.
He wears a similar costume, he has a similar backstory, and a familiar split punch. According to game creator John Tobias, they wanted to make a quote-unquote gritty game based on the film. So, yeah.
I used to play that all the time when I was younger.
Those are all the little facts I have. I would like to close out. I didn't forget a ninja joke.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. What is a ninja's favorite song?
I don't know.
Pieces of You by Jewel. And on that note, thank you so much for joining us. Please like, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff. And until next time.
Well,
oh, my bad.
Make sure that this week, at some point, you watch Jeff Speakman and The Perfect Weapon, because that's the next movie review.
Okay.
And more people than I thought have not seen this movie.
I've never even heard of Jeff Speakman.
So find the movie The Perfect Weapon and watch it, because it's going to be the next one we review, and it's an awesome movie.
Okay.
So that's it for me this week. So until next time, this is Sensei Daniel saying, Hiya!